of what is going on, welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the energy around our health, our well-being, how it translates into what we're navigating currently via the tarot, astrology, any channeled messages, as well as some Ayurvedic tidbits. So let's get into it. I apologize, I'm running a few minutes behind. It's been a little bit of a hectic morning. The energy is a little bit hectic right now. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that, I don't know. That was kind of a default. Like I just went to that. It's been interesting. You know, we had some amplified energy around the new moon that we're just coming off of. I'm going to pull up a chart. Sorry, I'm not very well prepared in this moment as well. But we had what am I looking for? Let me just think about this real quick. We had that new moon beginning of the week, and now we're in a place where things have resettled. It kind of did amplify the energy. It did bring up a lot. And so now we're kind of reshuffling, resorting. It was a solar eclipse as well, I should say that, because that brings a lot of change with it. And even though some of that energy has passed, we're still dealing with the reverberations of it, trying to find our balance, trying to find our footing. We're in Pisces season as well, which is water. It's a water sign, water energy. It heavily connects us with our intuition, our deeper sensings, like more of our spiritual selves, so to speak. And it can be a very intense energy as well, especially because it kind of vacillates between the extremes of life. What we're experiencing in reality, in real time, what happens versus kind of like that spiritual component of idealism and utopia, etc. Today, the fire element is actually really heightened. So we're combating fire and water. The air element is kind of stable, but it's giving, so it's giving us, it's not the dominating force per se, but it's giving us the opportunity to think through the problems and issues. There might be a lot of heat off the moment, whatever you're navigating through. So maybe you're just kind of dealing with some of the frustrations, the difficulties around your health and well-being, whatever that's looking like for you. You know, that can be what you're thinking, how you're feeling, your ability to implement a new schedule, a new routine specifically with your wellness, right? Like I'm going to eat better, or we just started the Lent season as well. We also had the Lunar New Year. So there's a lot kind of happening and not at the same time, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of where we're at right now is we're being given opportunities to make some really important choices. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be perfect or move in a linear direction. And if anything, we have to be open to the flexibility in the process, right? Like reworking the things that might not be moving in or towards our advantage type vibe. So that's also why I like to start off with an energy cleansing, just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you have come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in more of that realignment of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're feeling aligned in self, when we're grounded in self, that's really where we thrive. That's where we align with our success, our fulfillment, our abundance. And I would love to help support that in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light. Ooh, pure source energy. Pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. Okay. All right, so let's get into it. I'm hearing like snapped back into reality. You might have gone through like a lot of planning, a lot of hypothesizing of how things might look if you do A plus B equals C type thing. Cultivating some type of framework, groundwork for yourself. Something to help support you. I feel like some of that's being tested right now. Let's see what comes out first. Okay, so summer, expansion, growth. So it's, okay, so I'm hearing this is like a lot about like what you've learned to date, what you've learned about yourself, what I was just saying, right? Like you've had a lot of time to observe yourself, who you are, your wants, your needs. And now things are starting to come into play that are helping you put that into action. And it might not even be in like huge ways, right? Like, you know, you might just, if you're trying to change your eating habits, maybe you're just taking out one thing, or a lot of times during the Lent season, you know, we give up stuff, sugar, sweets, etc. And then maybe you continue that forward type vibe. It doesn't have to be connected to Lent. I just was reminded of that for whatever reason. It's affording you this opportunity to just be a little bit more balanced in your life. When you are operating out of that space of balance, it helps to make the decisions and choices way easier. We listen to ourselves more easily, our wants, our needs, especially as so much of disease comes from disconnection of self. And that can be also because of habits, patterns, long-standing things that we might not even think about. You know, it might just kind of be some subconscious, subliminal thing that's infiltrating our stability and our balance to some capacity. But I feel like you're having this time right now before the summer season hits. This is so much about you building that. I love this. We get this salt energy again. I think this came up last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. But it is about banishing negativity, right? Cleansing, purifying, even protection. I think I talked about that last time. There's a lot of different ways you can use salt to protect your home, your environment. You can sprinkle it in front of the threshold. There's a lot of different, I would just say Google it. I can go into a myriad of different ways, but there are simple things, right? Like I said, you can put it on the threshold of your windowsills or your door, or over your door, And it does add that element, not only of purification, but protection as well. Epsom salt baths, that's a great thing. I'm a huge proponent of doing herbal baths. I think it is very cleansing, it's very purifying, it's very honoring. Using aromatherapy or actual herbs and some Epsom salt can be very healing for the soul, especially if you are finding yourself in a lot of emotion. I think that anytime, I've noticed specifically, like if we can connect with some type of water when we're feeling a lot of emotions, it really helps bring in balance and stability. Whether you're going for a swim, taking a shower, a bath, etc., or even just doing like a steam or, you know, splashing water on your face. That can be very cleansing in and of itself. So it's like you're setting the stage for your longevity. I love this, pine tree. I'm seeing a lot of strength come from you this week again. I think this is like, again, I think it's a really good foundation that you have set. And I feel like you're more inspired this week. There's more positivity. There's more hope. We've been picking up this energy a lot, even in our collective readings, which is good. We definitely need to kind of catch the wave is what I'm hearing. It has been hard to purify. So sage is in the blocked energy. It's been hard to purify. It's been hard to let go. Using wisdom for that harmony and balance. And again, this to me relates to whether it's long-standing patterns or just certain type of dynamics, certain type of environment that you're used to that it's really hard to let go of. But again, I think that that's kind of more of an afterthought right now, because what you do have working for you is really good. It's really nice. It is setting the stage for like your next, well, Pluto in Aquarius is going to be the next 17, 18 years. So couple decades, right? And how that shows up for us. There might be a little apathy. It's hard not to let whenever we're in water signs, and I feel like this especially with Pisces, just because of its nature. It's very easy to get sucked into the emotional world and the woe is me and the things that aren't going right. The victim mentality and victim and blaming, and I'm not saying that that's specifically where you're at. I think these are the places where we need to purify a little bit more, right? Where our intuition is like, yeah, you can let go of that thing or give it up or whatever, right? And you're gonna be okay, you know, and maybe you're holding on to it for whatever reason, right? Like we like to feel like we're in control on some level, and we are, but there is this energy of the Knight of Wands. He's been popping up a lot, cayenne pepper. Facing an energy that's, you know, cayenne's very hot, very spicy. It can be delicious when used in the right quantities, but when it's overdone, it can be very, I don't want to say toxic, because I think it's actually a really good blood purifier. So that's good. That's the positive thing. And here's the thing. That's what you're doing on some level, right? Is like you are purifying self. And I feel like part of this Knight of Wands, whatever this represents to you, is part of that purification process. Whether it's a person or situation that's actually challenging you in this moment in time, or this is just more things that are hard to let go of, or like, I'll be fine, I don't need to give this up, or I don't need to do X, Y, and Z. It will all work out. It will all be fine. That's like what the Knight of Wands says, right? And I think, honestly, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because you have the 10 of Cups, 10 of water, and you're in energy, and it's like you want to be happy, you want to be good. That's the thing with health and wellness. We have to find this balance between not being too hard on ourselves, not being too rigid. And I find that like Western mentality is definitely more towards the intensity, the rigidity. You got to work out, you got to like starve yourself. You know, I mean, just like the concept of what is healthy in the Western world is just actually like pretty counterintuitive to what our body wants and needs. And I think that that's why we come into some of these things that might not be so obvious, so apparent on the surface. But if we dig a little bit deeper, going back to what I was saying earlier, if we actually connect with what our body wants, what it's asking for, what its needs are, I think that's why I like Ayurveda though as well, because it helps us nourish. It's health and wellness through nourishment, not through restriction. Yeah, sometimes you do need to detox and take certain things away that you know might not be good for you, like refined sugar or whatever, right? Caffeine, whatever. There's a myriad of things we can pinpoint, you know. But a lot of that is like, I'm hearing like moderation, you know, balance, making sure that like you can sometimes have a little bit of something. Maybe right now it's more appropriate to purify. Maybe right now it's more appropriate to be a little bit more stringent on what you're allowing into your energy, into your environment, because this is about having that safety, that stability of self, building that strong foundation, and specifically as it relates to your happiness. And when we do that, when we actually invest in that, we often realize that like we don't need certain things. We don't need to live with certain things that maybe were kind of hard to let go of in the first place. But you might have someone, something kind of pressuring you otherwise, pressuring you towards the past or how things used to be done, the structure that was in hand before or set in place before. You know, there's parts of you, or it looks like there's parts of you that feel really limited this week. Like you don't have enough, or maybe that's kind of where some of this overcompensation is coming through. Just wanting to be happy, perhaps even blocking out some of the things that you need to do to be a little bit more intentional about your longevity. It might feel a little overwhelming though at the same time, because there are a lot of emotions. You have a lot of emotions going on. And that, again, I think this is part of like what you are trying to purify. I think that you're going through a time where it's just going to be emotional, right? There's a lot of things that are happening right now. After Pisces season, we move back into Aries, and Aries is all about focusing on self. Pisces energy, we have to recognize not only the reality, but like, it's like how it affects us spiritually, mentally, emotionally. It's going to manifest on the physical to some capacity, whether it's exhaustion, depletion, depression, lack of motivation. I don't see that in your energy. If anything, I see you feeling pretty invigorated, but there's also like a belief of limitation. And I think I'm hearing it's coming through as fear. I think this is part of whatever something is playing off of in your environment. If they can get you to be afraid or think that you're doing something wrong or bad or like out of order, maybe even using some type of like not attack, it's not a full-blown attack, but it is definitely something that's trying to push you in a direction that you're really trying not to go, you know? Like you're not trying to go down a certain road. You're just trying to stay happy, well, and good in yourself. And I think you're doing it, you know? I think, again, like, I'm going to clarify this. I'm going to pull two more, and then I'll clarify that blocked energy. Perhaps I should do that in the beginning. I don't know. I'll think about it. Okay, so they have the Two of Earth, Two of Pentacles, Witch Hazel, doing cleansing of their own self. This is the Fool, new beginnings, a fresh new start. I think you're going to see a lot, and this also, no, it's not sunflowers, but it does kind of have a similar vibe to this summer energy. I think that that's when you're going to see a lot of movement for yourself. If I haven't said that already, it's like you're planning, you're preparing, you're kind of doing all the nitty gritty, all the things that go into making yourself feel more grounded, more balanced, more stable in your life, in your environment. And what you're doing is working. It is working. you're purifying, you're releasing, letting go. But I think the thing that is kind of counterintuitive is it almost looks like part of your life has stopped. Like you're dedicating a lot of energy to this healing, so to speak. But then it's also it's also keeping other things kind of stuck in a certain way, you know? Maybe this is some of the experience. And again, I don't know, I can't hate on that energy because it feels like you're preparing for things. Like you're preparing for something. And whether this is just like trying to get accustomed to a new way of living, a new way of approaching your health and well-being, honoring yourself, your body, your mind, your soul, whatever that looks like to you. Whether it's as simple as that, or you're actively making a lot of intentional changes to protect your peace, to protect your stability. It is a main focus, and maybe it should be. It's also saying that there is more here for you if you want to open up to it. And again, I can't hate on that. That's what I was saying just a minute ago. Maybe I'm repeating myself. I apologize if I am. But it has this energy of like, you could like be a little bit better off if you wanted to, and maybe it's not interesting because of the exhaustion or like everything that you do have going on. That's such a huge factor. Water my dreams, new adventures, and expressing love. So I'm going to take this as like you just doing this with you. Maybe you've come from a lot of time where you've kind of had to like, protect your peace, but also the desires of your heart, the things that you've wanted to see grow and manifest. And now that you have a little bit more clarity of what that looks like, it's like, okay, well, maybe you're ready. Maybe you're ready to be honest with yourself of like, hey, I actually really want this. I want to experience this. And I think that in and of itself, setting that intention, there's so much power that comes from the intention. Yes, we have to follow up and make sure we're putting action potential towards those things, good thoughts, good feelings, aligning ourselves in the proper way. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not just like, I wish for this to happen and then it magically appears. But that's exactly what I'm seeing you do right now. And I feel like that's where summertime is going to be really fortunate. I think good things are coming in because you're starting to explore and experience. These adventures, though, also feel like, like even if you're starting right now, it's like you're starting small. It's just little things that are kind of getting your feet wet, that are helping you to be more comfortable, right? Whether it is just focusing on a change of routine, change of environment, joining a club, a group, like some type of activity. I wanted to say like a bicycling group or something, runners club, There's all different fun ways to like change up things or get into wellness in a new way. And you don't even have to be like good at whatever it is. You can just have an interest in it, right? That's part of the adventure. We get expansive. Every day I am learning new things and expanding into my highest potential. So challenging yourself a little bit with how much you are growing. Because again, the sage is in our blocked energy. You know these things, like the things that are keeping you stuck, limited, inhibiting you, etc. The things that might be a little bit hard to cleanse and purify. And you have an opportunity to do that. You have an opportunity to do that. And you have an opportunity to do it in a way it requires conscious focus. It's becoming a little bit more proactive around what is happening in your day-to-day. Maybe not indulging in the emotional, in the healing so much. Yes, take time for that, but recognize like you can do other things too. What I focus on, I attract more of. Starting with today, I will become more conscious of what I choose to spend time speaking or thinking of. I will do more of the things that bring me joy and see as more of the things, and see as more of these things begin to effortlessly flow into my life. It is so true. Quantum physics has even proven it. Like attracts like. Bosons of a feather flock together. The way we vibrate, what we think, what we feel about ourselves, that gets attracted back to us. And it's a fun thing to play around with, you know, in your day-to-day. Like, hey, if I, like, actually every time I think a negative thought, I'm going to change it with this and see what comes of it, see what manifests, right? It's cool. It's very fun. It feels very magical, but it is as simple as like, we're going to attract that which is the same, you know, and part of getting into a new space of strength and stability is, yes, working towards those goals, but also believing that you can have it, that you deserve it. Infinite creativity, and there is infinite creativity. And I feel like that's actually what's being really expanded in your awareness right now. Any moment I am able to tap into an infinite source of energy and creativity within me. Unique ideas flow through, each one capable of blossoming into beautiful creations. That is what the unified field is all about. It is packed with potential of anything that your heart wants, anything that your heart desires, and we just have to tap into it. That's why I'm a huge proponent of transcendental meditation with a mantra, because it helps us calm our body, our mind, soul. It takes us into that transcendent or unified space where, you know, we can create anything. Actually, and it's really cool because there's all these different accounts throughout history, people who invented things, like really prominent things, or wrote great works of art or literature, etc. Like they would actually go into that meditative space in order to kind of glean for their work, whatever it was. And so it's a real thing, right? It's a legitimate thing. It's a thing that actually helps us rise above the surface kind of harsh reality we often come into contact with in the world, you know, but we have the power to change that energy. And when we can recognize this, when we understand this, like it actually helps being healthy and well, you know, because then we're operating out of that power. It's actually self-referral consciousness. The more powerful our consciousness is, the more healthy our body, our mind, our soul is going to be. It's all one and the same. And that's where it's like, I'm seeing it would really benefit you to maybe just like challenge yourself a little bit this week. Test out what you've learned, what you've kind of grown, see what doors open for you. I think there is something exciting. I think you're still, again, in the kind of chipping away phase of really understanding what fits, what resonates with you. But I would also encourage you to like start that process, you know, or engage in it a little bit more. I think you're more ready, you're more prepared than what you know. And I think a lot of this is building towards whatever is coming in for you this summer. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I super appreciate you, all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share in a little love, little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, it blesses my heart, and I'm sending that love and blessings back to you. Oh.